Eli5 What happens to your body when you eat a gram of uranium-235, which is 20 million calories? First, you die from immense radiation poisoning. Second, your body gets picked up by a specialized hazmat team, where it is encased in an extremely thick layer of concrete and taken to wherever the nearest radioactive material disposal site is. It is left to slowly decompose there, likely forever, or at least until society forgets that you are there or aliens show up and decide to dig up the hominid-shaped hole that is emitting so much radiation. Finally, multiple government and news investigations look into how someone stupid enough to eat a gram of U-235 got a hold of it. Like others have said, you'd just die. But to play with the scenario, let's assume it wasn't deadly and that we could digest it. In that case, it depends on how much you normally eat. 1 pound 3,500 calories, so 20 million calories 5,714 pounds. You wouldn't gain all that weight though. Your body is used to eating a certain number of calories a day and it doesn't waste any energy converting a ton of extra energy into fat. So most likely it absorbs somewhere around 1,000–2,000 calories of it and pass the rest. You would get heavy metal poisoning and/or acute radiation sickness depending on the amount eaten, with a chance of intestinal cancer in the coming years. Eating uranium-235 to get that energy is a typical internet myth. It is only released in fission events. This question is analogous to asking what happens if I drink 1 liter of petrol which contains about 8,000 calories? Which you can answer naturally: you would get poisoned. It would poison your kidneys and you would die. The radiation is not likely a problem, it's too slow, too low emission, and nowhere near critical mass. 52 kilograms of calories are not a problem. You have no way to access them and no way to fire neutrons into the uranium to force fission anyway. Heavy metal poisoning, however, will get you every time. The safe dose is below 0.025 grams. The fatal dose is 0.05 grams. 1 gram will fuck you up. You know, all atoms has a potential energy, still we don't get 1,000 pounds despite eating kilos of atoms. It's just that we discover mechanism to extract energy from atoms, and it's so huge it creates an explosion. But if you don't use that technique, an atom is inert. Some atoms and some molecules can be harmful for us by many ways: their weight, their chemical reactions, and so on. But about the calories thing, answer: assuming it's absorbed into your bloodstream and isn't just a solid lump that passes through your digestive tract, that's about 20x the estimated lethal dose. Uranium is a toxic heavy metal, so you'd be poisoned. It shuts down your kidneys. The radiation would also be an issue, assuming you survive the poisoning, but you likely won't live anywhere near long enough. Nothing happens. If it's a solid lump, you'll shit it out. If you don't, you get heavy metal poisoning. And no, you do not get acute radiation sickness, because quite contrary to popular opinion, uranium is not very radioactive due to its very long half-life. However, you will probably get cancer on the long run if the uranium stays in your body. 1 gram of fat contains 4 calories. Assuming the body could convert those 20 calories into fat, it would make 2.2 metric tons of fat. That's enough energy for about 22 years. But given the effects of ionizing radiation, I would be surprised if that poor soul makes it past 22 days. This actually happened with 10 micrograms of polonium-210 as part of an assassination plot in Russia. More reading here, if you're interested. Of Alexander Litvinenko. Your stomach can't absorb the energy in U-235. It will pass through your system and you will probably poop some of it out hours later. What's left will hurt whatever tissues it touches, either a little or a lot. I don't know if a gram will do serious damage. You die of kidney failure. Source: damage starts to appear after taking in 25 milligrams, while intakes of more than 50 milligrams can cause renal failure and death. The uranium may contain lots of energy, but it isn't in a form that is usable by your body. Dumping 20 gallons of gas into a Tesla won't extend your range because a Tesla lacks the means to use that type of fuel. Same for your body and uranium. Side note on how cool the body works. A gallon of gas is about 30,000 calories, we can drive that about 20 miles on average with that. The human body can ride a bicycle for an hour and get 20 miles on about 600 calories. Take the basal metabolic rate for your fictional character. Then subtract that from 20 million. Divide what is left over by 3,500 and that is a rough theoretical estimate for how much pounds you would gain. Calories is a measure of energy, so yay, uranium is packed full of energy. But our bodies cannot process or use radiation energy for anything. You would just have a radioactive rock inside you. I feel like this is the origin story of Marvel Comics. Stan Lee, it's joined. Dude, what do you think happens to your body when you eat a gram of uranium-235, which is 20 million calories? You might enjoy a book called What If? It's us by a scientist who answers just a bunch of absurd questions like this to the best of his ability. I think that question might actually be in it. You die of radiation poisoning. Humans can't metabolize uranium, and it keeps sending out alpha and beta particles that degrade your DNA and cell structures until you basically unravel. It would largely pass through your digestive tract since we can digest it. Some gets absorbed though. You would also die an agonizing death from radiation poisoning. Calories are just a form of energy, like a kWh on your electricity bill. So those 20 million calories are only the amount of power you can extract by other means. You die within hours while you're scorched with blisters. Your organs will rupture and split. It won't be a pleasant last meal.